Here's a cool trick that you can do with a trigger module and 1010music's BitBox. BitBox is a sampling Eurorack module that can play back samples, and it works a lot like Ableton's Simpler and Sampler. There's a MIDI input, which you can stick to a keyboard to play back the pads or the keys. But today, we're going to stick this MIDI input into the output of a Roland TM-6 Pro. This is a trigger module made for the drums. You would stick these little clamps onto your drum heads, and every time you hit the drum, it would send a trigger into this module and play back a sample that's already loaded onto it. Now, although there are a lot of sample banks that you can customize, you do have to do some menu diving, and you have to upload some of the samples onto the SD card, much like the BitBox. However, when using the BitBox in tandem with the TM-6 Pro, you actually have the screen on with the TM-6 Pro on as well. So you can upload any samples in here that you want and then play them back on here right away. To add on to this, all the trigger inputs are on the back, and Roland doesn't just make one trigger module. You can also use electric drum heads and stick them straight into here. They don't require power, just the module itself. Now, how am I doing this? Well, if you go to the menu on this TM-6 and go to the MIDI section, Kit MIDI, you'll see all of the pad heads, right? And what you want to do is you can set the MIDI channel that they play back on. So I have them all playing back on different MIDI channels, 1 to 4, right? So they can trigger different samples individually. And then on the BitBox, I'll select one of the samples, and I'll change the MIDI input to a corresponding hit on TM-6. See? Channel 2, channel 1. So now, if I were to play this head, I'm going to trigger the tech kick, or, well, the clap. See? You can see the playback when I hit the drum head. You can also specify the rim shot too, to play different samples, as you can see here. This is without the rim head. This is with the rim head. And then the way that you get this to work without the pitch of the sample playback changing is by switching the note value that they play at all to C4, which is going to be the regular pitch playback. If I turn this down or up, you get that weird sample pitch change. So we'll change that back to C4. Now, you may be asking, why in the world would you do this with two samplers? Well, there is a resample mode on the BitBox, which means that you can record whatever drum groove you have going on the BitBox already, and then play along to it live, and you'll record that as a loop, and then you can just keep on looping that for live performances. You can also hook this up to the audio out during a DJ set and just have some custom samples ready to go, and you can just hit them when you want. So that's another way to just improve your live performance and play. And you know what? Like, why not? You know, have a loop going. Let me see if you can see that. Have a loop going, right? And just play back some stuff. You know, it's just to be cool. So yeah, that's about it. Just some really cool tricks that you can do with the MIDI input on the BitBox. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe if you'd like, and please leave a comment if you have any questions. See ya.